Hi, my name is Mary Jean Murphy, and I'm from My Favorite Quilt Store, and I'm going to show you a technique called backbasting applique. This is my applique of choice. There are a lot of ways to do applique. This is just one of them, but I hope you stick around and let me show you my technique. So let's get started. This is my pattern. I'm just going to do a simple leaf. I'm going to put the leaf on this just white fabric. And here is the leaf. It's going to be a red leaf. I just wanted you to be able to really see it. So the first thing you need to do is draw the pattern onto the fabric, onto the background fabric. So that's the right side. This is the wrong side. And I'm going to put the wrong side down. And I've got my light box here. I hope you can see it. And what you do is you just very carefully and precisely draw with something that you can see on here. Like I wouldn't use a white crayon pencil. And see, I'm just drawing the leaf directly onto the fabric, just like that. Now, of course, if you have a pattern that has, a larger pattern, you're going to draw the whole thing. And usually what I do is just make my background bigger. I draw off the size that I need for the block, and I do some registration lines, maybe two diagonals, and then the crosshairs, and then put the pattern down on the light box and put the fabric on top. Now, if the pattern is not symmetrical, you do have to reverse it, and all you do is just turn the pattern over because you're going to be able to see it through the light box anyway. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you see, here it is. I'm going to take this off. We don't need this anymore because we already have the pattern on the fabric. And that's the right side. This is the wrong side. This is the wrong side. So I want the wrong side down and then the right side like this. I'm just going to turn this on to make sure that I get it in the middle. And I do. As you can see, there's enough around this leaf so you see some seam allowance. And I'm going to turn it off. So I use an embroidery needle. You can use pearl cotton. I have this pearl cotton that's on a just on a spool. I think this is by Aurifil, and it's like a size 12. Let me see if I have, here it is. So this is what I'm using, but you can use any pearl cotton, DMC floss, but it needs to be thicker. And I will go ahead and just put a pin in the middle just to go ahead and hold that fabric. I'm going to show you the correct side. So this is the right side. This is the right side. I think you probably can see where I'm going from here. And so what you do is you start somewhere on the leaf. I'm going to start at the point. Always have the knot in the front. And then let's just do a running stitch on the line of our applique piece, the piece we want to applique. Now this is called backbasting, and I guess it gets its name because I'm basting from the back. This is all the prep work that you're going to need to do for this piece. It is really easy to travel with this because you're not needing starch, you're not needing an iron. A friend of mine about 10 years ago showed me this method. Her name was Nancy, and Nancy was doing the most beautiful applique. And I thought, oh, I'll never do that. That looks too difficult. And then I gave it a try, and I love it. But it's not the only applique I do. I will do needle turn. I will do the freezer paper method. I will also do the starch method. And sometimes I even do all these methods. As you can see, I'm not making huge stitches, but I want you to be sure that you can see it on the front. See, we've got a nice contrast, so I can see the basting stitches. I can get rid of this pin now. It's pretty pretty tight on the front. I'm not pulling it tight. I'm just going around, and what I'm actually doing is creating a line that I can see on the front, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, and I want you to end in the front. Let me go ahead and cut this off. Bloop, just like that. The piece is now ready to go. So I can leave it like this for now if I want to travel with it, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it. So I'm just going to cut this out with about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And you see I'm going right around with my great little pair of scissors here. These scissors are by Karen K. Buckley, and they are serrated, and I really, really, really like them for doing these kind of projects. They're little, they're sharp, and the fabric doesn't move because they're serrated. Okay, this is waste. You can go ahead and throw them away. And as you see, I've got my my applique piece all ready to roll. The thread that I'm using is by Superior Masterpiece. You just want to need a little bit of a thinner thread. And let's see if I have, here it is. I really like these applique needles. They're straw needles. I use a size 11. I think I probably have 10s also, but I do like the 11s. They have a little bit of a bend to them. The other thing that you are going to need, and because I think it makes it easier, because these needles are so bendable, is a toothpick. And I keep the toothpick in my mouth. Sorry, you can't see me. So go ahead and dock your needle, and you pick out your first stitches. And right where that stitch line is, I want you to use your toothpick, and I want you to tuck it. And then from the back, come on up right at the edge. Can you see how close to the edge I am? I hope you can see. And then what I do is I drag my needle till I'm just a hair underneath, maybe 1 or 2 threads underneath of the piece. You don't pull it too tight. You don't leave it too loose. And there you go. I got my first 3 stitches in. I want you to dock your needle again and take your toothpick and pick out the next stitch. I just pull it back. It usually gets in the way. And then go ahead and, using your toothpick, go ahead and tuck that seam allowance in and continue on your way. It's just as simple as that. But there is a little trick to turning the corner. Docking my needle again, pulling out the next stitch. I will say the toothpicks that are very pointy are easier, and I keep one point dry and the other point wet from my mouth, and the wet point you can actually grip onto the fabric. But can you see how I'm really just following that line? So that's the edge of my leaf. Toothpicks back in my mouth, waiting for the next tuck. And I'm just going around and around. Now, if you've never tried this, I hope you give it a try. If you need a little bit more tutorial, I can pretty much guarantee you need to pull it out just a little bit. You just kind of finesse it with that toothpick. I can pretty much guarantee that if you get on to Google and you Google the word backbasting applique, you are going to find many, many, many tutorials that will show you. And maybe if mine doesn't strike it for you, maybe somebody else's will. And see, you just kind of finesse that piece until you think it's right on the line. Some people claim that if you put the basting stitches in, 24 hours before you use it, that you can actually see the line easier. I don't know how true that is. I think that I just put them in and I can see the line, and this is a pretty simple shape. And I think that if you just do it if you go ahead and start it when you baste it, you'll be just as successful. But who knows? We might want to give it a try either way. So I'm just going to go around the corner here until I get to the top. And then I will come back and show you the easy way to turn the corner. Okay, as you see, I'm close to the corner now. I'm getting ready to turn that point. And we really like those nice, clean, crisp points. So here I am. I just trimmed this back so that it wasn't in the way. Got my needle docked, and I'm right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this corner piece out, this corner stitch. Here I go. And we're going to tuck it just like we do the straightaway. Okay, and I feel like I'm going to get a nice point here. Of course, you know, it's luck of the draw sometimes, but this is a pretty foolproof way to get a nice point. Okay, I'm pretty darn close to that. So I'm going to put a stabilizing stitch in that. Just like that. Docking my needle, turn in the corner, taking out the next stitch. Okay, now here's the trick. I want you to fix this so that it goes along with the seam allowance. I kind of pull this back a hair, and then I take this and I just flip it under. Okay, so that right there is going to be my point. So I'm going to go down and straight up in my point, pull it, and then I'm going to take the tiniest stitch, and I'm going to try to get this thread to the left of the point. And that worked out really well. Okay, so I'm turning the corner. Starting at where the basting thread is, I'm going to push under the seam, and I'm going to pull that point out, just like that. I think I should say ta-da, because it worked out beautiful. Here we go. Right on down, exactly the way we did the other side. And that's a point. I'll put a couple more stitches in here while I'm telling you that this is backbasting applique. This is my preferred method. And if you want more information, continue watching our videos. We will be posting videos on YouTube. And I hope you enjoyed my little demo. Here we go. Okay, I think you can see where I'm going. Thank you for joining me today. This is Mary Jean from My Favorite Quilt Store, and I hope you have a great time learning to backbaste.